When scientists discovered what cats were really doing at 3 a.m., they couldn't believe their eyes. Secret meetings, silent communication networks, a global takeover happening right under our noses. What if I told you that your fluffy companion isn't just a pet, but part of something far bigger than anyone imagined? The evidence has been hiding in plain sight for centuries, and now the truth is finally coming out. Cats aren't just living with us, they're studying us, waiting, planning. And what researchers uncovered about their hidden abilities will change everything you thought you knew about these mysterious creatures. You've seen your cat staring at empty corners. You've heard those strange sounds at midnight, but nobody warned you about what's really happening. When veterinary neurologists examined feline brain patterns, they discovered something that sent chills down their spines. Cats possess sensory capabilities that operate on levels humans can't even detect. They're not just seeing and hearing more than us, they're operating in an entirely different reality. Their whiskers aren't just cute facial features. These specialized organs, called vibrissae, contain thousands of nerve endings that create a three-dimensional map of their surroundings. In complete darkness, cats navigate with precision that makes our technology look primitive. They detect air current changes, measure spaces down to the millimeter, and sense approaching threats before any danger becomes visible. But that's not even the strangest part. Scientists monitoring cat colonies discovered they communicate through frequency ranges completely invisible to human perception. When your cat purrs, you think it's contentment. The truth is far more complex. Cats purr at frequencies between 25 and 50 hertz, the exact range that promotes bone density and healing. They're literally vibrating at frequencies that repair tissue damage and reduce pain. Researchers studying injured cats found they heal significantly faster than other mammals of similar size. Broken bones mend in record time. Wounds close with minimal scarring. They've evolved a built-in medical device that operates continuously. But here's where things get really disturbing. When multiple cats gather, their purring frequencies synchronize, creating harmonic patterns that amplify these effects. They're not just healing themselves, they're creating healing fields that affect everything around them. Ancient Egyptians weren't crazy when they worshipped cats. They knew something we forgot. Archaeological evidence shows cats domesticated themselves roughly 10,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent. But unlike dogs, who we selectively bred into hundreds of different forms, cats barely changed. They didn't need to. They chose to live with humans on their terms, maintaining their wild DNA almost completely intact. Your house cat shares 95% of its genetic code with tigers. That cute creature sleeping on your couch is essentially a miniature apex predator who decided to tolerate your presence. And the reason they stuck around had nothing to do with needing us. Watch your cat's eyes in dim light, and you'll see something alien staring back. That eerie glow isn't magic. It's a reflective layer called the tapetum lucidum that amplifies available light. Cats see in light conditions 6 times darker than humans require. They've essentially got built-in night vision that makes our expensive military equipment look primitive. But their visual superiority doesn't stop there. Cats detect motion at speeds human eyes can't process. That's why they react to things you can't see. They're not crazy. They're observing movements in the environment that happen too fast for your visual cortex to register. Insects moving, air currents shifting, subtle changes in light patterns. They're experiencing a version of reality that's completely beyond our perception. Now here's where the conspiracy deepens. Toxoplasmagondiicats, a microscopic parasite that can only reproduce in cat intestines, infects roughly 30% of the human population. Once inside the human brain, it alters behavior patterns. Infected individuals show reduced fear responses and increased risk-taking behavior. Some researchers suggest it might even influence personality traits and decision-making processes. Cats are essentially carrying a biological agent that modifies human psychology, but nobody's talking about it. The parasite spreads through cat feces, contaminated water, and undercooked meat. It crosses the blood-brain barrier and forms permanent cysts in neural tissue. You can't get rid of it. Once you're infected, those microscopic organisms stay in your brain forever, potentially influencing your thoughts and actions. Watch a cat hunk, and you'll witness one of nature's most sophisticated predators in action. Their skeletal structure contains 53 loosely connected vertebrae, giving them flexibility that seems physically impossible. They rotate their spine up to 180 degrees, fit through any opening their head passes through, land on their feet from falls that would kill most animals. That famous righting reflex isn't just balance, it's a complex series of calculations their brain performs in fractions of a second. They assess rotation speed, spatial orientation, and landing trajectory faster than any computer. But the really unsettling part is their success rate. Studies show outdoor cats kill billions of birds and small mammals annually. They don't hunt because they're hungry. They hunt because they're programmed to. Even well-fed house cats retain this instinct at full intensity. Cat communication operates on multiple simultaneous channels humans barely understand. They've got over 100 vocal sounds compared to dogs' measly 10. Each sound carries specific meaning, modified by context, tone, and body language. That meow isn't a natural cat sound. They developed it specifically to manipulate humans. Adult cats don't meow at each other, only at us. They figured out which sounds trigger our nurturing responses and weaponized that knowledge. But their real communication happens through channels we can't access. Pheromones released from facial glands mark territory and convey complex information. Tail positions create visual signals visible from long distances. Ear rotations broadcast emotional states to other cats while remaining subtle to human observers. They're having entire conversations right in front of us that we're completely blind to. The internet's obsession with cats isn't random chance. These animals have somehow hacked human psychology at a fundamental level. Their facial proportions trigger the same neurological responses as human babies. Large eyes relative to head size, small noses, rounded features. Our brains are hardwired to find these traits adorable and protective. Cats evolved to exploit this vulnerability. They're essentially wearing a biological mask that triggers our parental instincts, making us willing servants to their needs. And the strategy worked beyond anything evolution could have predicted. There are now more than 500 million domestic cats worldwide. They've spread to every continent except Antarctica, achieved global saturation without any organized effort. They just showed up, looked cute, and humans voluntarily became their support system. Here's what nobody wants to admit. Cats are one of the world's most invasive species. They've contributed to the extinction of 63 species of birds, mammals, and reptiles. Island ecosystems particularly vulnerable to their predation have been devastated. But we keep breeding more, keep letting them roam freely, keep pretending they're harmless. The ecological impact is catastrophic, yet cultural attachment to cats remains unshakable. They've successfully embedded themselves so deeply into human society that we overlook the damage they cause. It's the perfect invasion strategy. Make yourself indispensable to the dominant species, then do whatever you want. Cat behavior that seems random or quirky often has strategic purpose. When they bring you dead animals, they're not giving gifts. They're teaching you to hunt because they've assessed your skills and found them severely lacking. When they knock objects off tables, they're not being jerks. They're testing object behavior and gravity, conducting experiments to understand their environment better. When they sit on your keyboard or book, they're not seeking attention. They're inserting themselves into activities that consume your focus, redirecting your attention back to them where it belongs. Every seemingly cute or annoying behavior serves a calculated purpose. The most disturbing revelation came from recent neurological studies. Cat brains contain approximately 300 million neurons compared to dogs' 160 million. But it's not just quantity, it's organization. The cerebral cortex region, responsible for decision-making and problem-solving, shows remarkable similarity to primate brains. They're capable of complex reasoning, long-term planning, and sophisticated social manipulation. That innocent look isn't innocent. It's calculated. They understand cause and effect, recognize individual humans, and remember experiences for years. They're not operating on instinct alone. They're thinking, planning, adapting. So what does this all mean? Are cats really taking over the world? Maybe they already have. They've achieved what no other species managed: global distribution, willing human servants, and complete integration into human society without losing their essential nature. They haven't adapted to us, we've adapted to them. We structure our homes around their comfort, spend billions annually on their food and care, tolerate behavior we wouldn't accept from any other animal, and we do it gladly because they've figured out exactly which buttons to push. Whether through evolutionary accident or something more calculated, cats have achieved the perfect parasitic relationship. They get everything they need while giving just enough affection to keep us hooked. Next time your cat stares at you with those unblinking eyes, remember, they're not just a pet. They're a highly evolved predator with sensory abilities beyond your comprehension, communication networks you can't access, and possibly a parasite in their system that's already modified your brain chemistry. They're watching, learning, and probably wondering why their human servants are taking so long to open that food can. The takeover isn't coming. It already happened. We just haven't realized it yet.